my mallet? I know you sense it. The 3D printers are becoming more and more common, easier to use, more mainstream, but could we actually make real tools with them? Is the future here? If I need a wrench right now, could I print one? And how long would it take? And then could I actually use it? And we've all wondered, what should I use my printer for? You know, besides printing silly things that have no use case? 6 years ago, I bought my first 3D printer. You could say I was kind of an early adopter, but certainly not among the first. Plenty of people did it before me, but when the machine started becoming half decent off the shelf, that's when I got in. At the same time, I started woodworking, and since then the two interests have slowly merged into one. A lot has happened with 3D printers since I bought my first one, and they have become a lot more mainstream now. And lately, it's sort of become a complement tool to the woodworker as well. And the Bambolab P1S is what I'll be using for this project because it's an enclosed printer, which means I can print the tougher materials because of the heat needed. Here are a couple of filament rolls, and the most common type of plastic to use is called PLA. It's easy to print and fairly all around usable. But the downside, it easily breaks. But development in filaments have led to some pretty robust and almost industrial grade types of plastics. So I thought maybe I can use them to make real tools. Like the tools I would have to go out and buy if I didn't have them. So today I'll be making a couple of tools, but I'll also show you my absolute favorite prints for the workshop. Let's go. In preparation for this, I've been spending some time in CAD drawing up models, but I will also share a couple that I downloaded that were already available. I had to switch out the nozzle of this Bambolab P1S for a hardened steel one, because the nozzle that came with the machine can easily clog with some of the materials I'll be printing. And once that is done, I could start printing. So the first thing I drew up was a mallet. Because I couldn't find mine and I needed one, and I think that's where the 3D printer can really shine. If instead of going to the store to buy one, I can just print one and keep working, if that's the case, that would be great. For the first one, I just printed it in regular PLA that is reinforced with carbon fiber. So this is it. Surely looks good and all, but it probably won't take a beating, but we'll see when I try this out compared to other materials later. But there is one big flaw with this one, and I might have a solution for that, which we'll get to later. Before we try to solve that issue though, I wanted to try to print a combination square, so I actually drew one up in Fusion 360 and I'm ready to print it out. There is one thing though. I need to print the tiny screw that goes inside the combination square, and that will be used a lot. I have an idea to print this in a new material called PPA-CF. PPA-CF is supposed to have metal-like strength and industrial grade precision. And I'm certainly interested in trying that out. So before I print the combination square, I'm just going to print a square tube. Okay, I'll start with this PLA. It's printed standing up, so the layer lines are this way, and we'll see how it holds up if I stand on it. And then we can try the PPA-CF to see how it compares. So I'll put this here between the blocks. And let's put some pressure on it. Oh, there it broke. So I've done the exact same thing with the PPA-CF, so let's see how that compares. It broke after a while, but with a lot more pressure. So now let's try this. This is printed on its side, both of them. This is PLA, this is PPA-CF. Printed with supports, of course, but I've since then removed the supports. It's holding up fine. And now let's try the PPA-CF. There's no flex at all, it seems like, in this PPA-CF. This kind of proves that the print orientation in relation to how the part will be used could be a lot more efficient than just getting a stronger filament. Because this PPA-CF, it's not cheap at all. So now let's go on to print the combination square. I printed the screw and the cap for the combination square using the same filament. One thing to consider with materials like this with carbon fiber and nylon is that they need to be dried out beforehand. Otherwise you run the risk of a clogged nozzle and a lot of stringing. I use this Sunlu filler dryer S4 because it can hold up to 4 rolls at the same time. And it has all the stats on the touch screen, and I can of course print straight from it as well. Once that was done, I could print the other parts for the combination square using any material really. All the parts go together like a normal combination square, and if you have a small spring you can attach that as well to make it hold down the ruler even better. So how many combination squares do we actually need? Not that many, and this doesn't have a ruler per se, but more markings every 5 millimeters. So it's not really a ruler, but more a way of drawing a line that is 90 degrees or 45 degrees. And when measuring, it seems to be really accurate both at 45 and 90 degrees. And to be honest, I mostly use the combination square to draw a straight line, and for that this will work perfectly well. So I have uploaded this to MakerWorld for anyone who wants to print it. And the thing about the 3D printing community is that there is sharing and caring. The sharing part is that I will upload this model to MakerWorld for anyone to download and print themselves. But from there, other people can take my design and tweak it, and that's where the caring takes place. Their caring is what's usually called a remix. And all of a sudden there are a couple of remixes. And the more files there are online, the likelihood of you just finding the exact thing you need increases. There are times, however, when it doesn't really start with the sharing part. Like when I made this. This is a magnetic adapter for your dust collector. Now there were others like this on the market, but I had a couple of incidents where super glue and plastic didn't jam together, literally speaking. Sometimes they would come loose, especially when they were in contact with other magnets. So I made this that have the magnets embedded inside of the print. Now how does that work? Well, in most slicers there's usually an option to tell the printer when to go have a coffee break. And while the printer's doing that, you can fill the empty voids in the print with magnets. And when the printer comes back from that coffee break, it has no idea what's been going on behind the scenes. And when placing the magnets with opposite polarity in every other hole, it means all the connectors will fit together. Now I used neodymium N52 magnets for this, and I bought them in bulk from a company I can trust to label the magnets with the correct rating. Because I have received magnets in the past from Amazon in particular where they're rated N52 but in reality aren't. So if you're printing something like this, make sure you have the absolute strongest magnets and that they're labeled correctly. Well, I did say there are times when sharing isn't there. Well, for these, I had invested a lot of time and money in buying magnets because I was gonna sell these online. And I did that for a while until I realized that shipping worldwide, it wasn't for me. So to be able to earn from the initial idea I had, I started selling the files online instead. And quite frankly, I think a lot of people should be paid for their invested time. So whenever I come across a print I really want and the designer charges for it, I buy it. I'm willing to pay them because that means I don't need to invest my time in actually drawing it up. But I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about the sharing and caring. On the topic of sharing, here are a couple of files I found online that you can 3D print yourself. I printed a wrench in PLA first and then in PAHTCF. Both the filaments struggle with bolts that are tightly screwed in because there's not enough rigidity in the mechanism nor in the plastic. Of course, there are plenty of things you can print in PLA, like a speed square. Works really well and seems kind of accurate. You could have as many as you want, but what you always need to consider with 3D printed parts is to check for shrinking. Especially if you're printing rulers. Some filament types will shrink more than others and that will throw the measurement off a bit. But the main concern for this is that it is 90 and 45 degrees, which it is, kind of. There's a small gap at the top of this square which indicates it isn't perfect. But I also found some cool stuff that you can print and use with either PLA or PETG. Like this is a drill dust collector. You simply attach this to your shop vac, turn the shop vac on and place this over the hole you're drilling. It sucks to the wall and it will get rid of the dust at the same time. Pretty clever. But to show it off, I now have an additional hole in my wall. But also, you could just drill and then vacuum. But it's there to print if you want it. See, now I have 2 holes. Well, a good thing is I could print a putty knife. These are depth gauges, which quite honestly, I don't use that much. But that's even better, because why would I pay for something I hardly ever use? I would rather print one when I need one. And it doesn't matter if it's just PLA. You just want the stop. But then again, some blue tape will do. It's just preference. This is quite a handy clamp. That's probably why it's called that. But I printed one in carbon fiber reinforced PLA, and this thing is honestly... I mean, they clamp on quite good if you don't over tighten it, because then it breaks. If you're lacking a clamp, print one and be careful not to think too highly about it. So this is a panel carrying handle. And it's available in different strengths, so when you need a handle, it's easy lifting them. Easier. It's not easy. Easier. Try it out. Another great thing are these dust collector connected hose adapter cup things. Simply connect them together and place them where you want them. For the drill press in particular, this is a great upgrade. This is something else I did. It's a bit silly, but I like it. It's a simple storage solution for the wall. I call it the nipple. So what? Hang on, stop just for a bit. Everyone won't have a 3D printer at home and you keep going like 3D print that, 3D print this. Whoa. Well, to be honest, everyone should have a 3D printer at home. What else are you going to do? Waste your life watching sports? If you must know, I quite enjoy watching sports. There you go, I said it. If you really want to know, you could actually watch sports and 3D print at the same time. It's not like I need to sit here watch it print. But also, there are services that can do the 3D printing for you. That means you can just send off the files to PCBWay because they're the sponsor of this video. As soon as you upload your file to PCBWay.com, they will quote you for that particular part and you can have them make it and ship it to you all whilst you're watching the sports. Now, can I keep doing my thing here? Because I've got plenty of files I want to 3D print and show these guys. You don't need to be such a... be what? Whatever. I also drew up a dowel jig that I really want to try out. This does not require that much of a strong filament because it will only be used as a jig. And it actually seems to work really well. I mean, the drill will carve into the PLA if you're totally misaligned. It's not metal, but it's just a drill guide. It works. It's the poor man's domino. Although I made it to fit 8mm dowels and I realized I didn't have any, so I 3D printed some. One last item before we try to solve the problem with the mallet. This is a corner radius gauge I made a couple of years ago. Rather than printing the entire radius jig over and over again, I made this where you can swap out the radius and still keep the same base. And I think it looks kinda cool. It makes it really easy to do a custom roundover. Now, what about the problem then? Well, printing a mallet in plastic, even this PLA CF, will result in something extremely light. I mean, there's no weight to this at all. So I had an idea. What if I just fill it up with sand? Easy, right? Well, that was a really dumb idea. I bought some fine grain sand from Amazon with the idea that it would flow down the 3D print really well. So I had it all set up. I started the print, added a pause mid-print so that I could fill it up with sand. The only issue was I forgot to turn the fans off. And the sand was so fine-grained, it was just flying everywhere, turning my 3D printer into a beach. Luckily, this was just a test so that you don't have to make the same mistake. And the white one was actually regular PLA. So I made a new test. I redrew the print and added a screw cap on the bottom. I printed the mallet again, this time in this beautiful green PLA CF. Okay, typical Swedish winter. I've got my PLA one. This is regular PLA. It's printed with sand inside of it, so it's got the weight. This one is carbon fiber reinforced PLA, and the problem is it's too light. Let's fill this one up with some sand now that I'm outside, and we'll see how it works. First impression, this didn't accept enough sand. Might be due to the infill or the hollow cylinder I made inside of it. But it's definitely heavier, but it's not as heavy as the PLA. Secondly, I printed these standing up, which means the layer lines are going this way. Ideally, it should be printed this way, but that would require supports, and also the threads and all that stuff would have been a bit more complicated. It should work though. But now, the test. And there it broke, and it actually broke at the place where it was paused and resumed, and there was quite a visible layer line. So this is the one without any sand in it, but it's carbon fiber reinforced. So it didn't break, but it's smashing apart. And now the carbon fiber reinforced with sand in it. I think by adding something on something softer on the outside, it would further protect the mallet. But I think I wasn't banging this unnaturally hard. Definitely would work as an extra mallet. Printing it sideways like this would have made it stronger in some cases, but anyways, the plastic won't take the beating. When I was shooting that other scene with the sand, I realized I was a fool for printing it up like that. So I made a robust mallet. It's got TPU on the end for softening the blow, maybe a bit. It's printed on its side. I haven't filled it with sand, but I made the screw cap on the bottom for filling it with sand. Just gonna see how it performs, and it's raining outside, so I'm indoors. It seems to work. I'll upload it to MakerWorld. You can try it if you want to. I think we can say in some cases we can actually print the tools we need. But metal will always be metal. But if you're just in a tight spot and need the tool, you can in many cases just 3D print it.